Metal Gear Solid 5: The Phantom Pain is the ninth installment in the long-running Metal Gear Solid series. Developed by Kojima Productions and published by Konami Digital Entertainment, Metal Gear Solid 5 is directed, produced, designed, and written by the renowned Japanese video game designer Hideo Kojima. The Metal Gear series is a long-running series, the first Metal Gear being created by Hideo Kojima and debuting in 1987 for the Nintendo Entertainment System. With 23 games bearing the Metal Gear name, the series has a significant cult following. In this video, I'll be discussing two distinct topics. The first being, is Metal Gear Solid 5 a serious game? The second topic being discussed is the Japanese cultural influences present in Metal Gear Solid 5. Metal Gear Solid 5: The Phantom Pain seems to take itself seriously in most of its aspects. The game tackles and presents some serious issues, such as child soldiers in Africa, PTSD, biological human experiments, and the effect of war in general. The game tackles these issues through its gameplay, but also through its cinematic cutscenes. The game itself is very cinematic, with large, impressive visuals, comprehensive voice acting, well-written dialogue, and a dramatic story. Here is an in-game cutscene, in which we can see just the extent of the cinematic style of the game. The heavy voice acting, along with the dark and dramatic atmosphere, as well as the dramatic and exaggerated camera movement. Metal Gear Solid 5: The Phantom Pain can be conflicting in its seriousness though. Although most of the characters and cutscenes are serious, there are certain gameplay aspects that are not serious, and it's sometimes even comical. For example, hostages are extracted by attaching a comically large helium balloon to them, and then watching them fly into the sky at impossible speeds. There are also decoys, which consist of simply a blow-up rendition of a soldier. The player can also hide from enemies in a cardboard box. How about this video? This mission attempts to show the seriousness and consequences of child soldiers, but here the player can launch a rocket-propelled fist to stun the child soldiers, or the player can engage in close quarters combat to neutralize the children. This montage is rather humorous, and any player can perform these acts in the game. Metal Gear Solid 5: The Phantom Pain is a serious game. It tackles some serious issues and has a serious tone in most of the gameplay. The cutscenes and storylines are dramatic and narrative. There is, however, a small amount of comic relief or campiness present in the game. This is most likely a development choice. As Metal Gear Solid 5 is a long game, playing a long, serious game for tens of hours would become tiresome, and the player would most likely get sick of such a serious tone. Interspersing this serious tone with small amounts of humor or quirkiness give the player a small break and greatly improves the enjoyment and overall experience of the game. Metal Gear Solid 5: The Phantom Pain is a game mostly about American characters, set in Afghanistan and Northern Africa, despite featuring mostly American or Caucasian protagonists. Metal Gear Solid 5 is created, directed, written, and published by Japanese video game developers. This Western influence comes mainly from the creator, director, and writer Hideo Kojima, and his love of Western movies, music, and literature. Some media influences for the Metal Gear series, as either referenced directly in-game or by Kojima himself, include 007, the James Bond series, 1984, Die Hard 2, Doctor Strangelove, Full Metal Jacket, Mad Max 2, The Matrix, Rambo, Star Wars, The Terminator, and many more. As we can see, Western action, as well as many apocalyptic, some post, some pre, can be seen as having a huge influence on Metal Gear Solid 5's storyline. Metal Gear Solid 5: The Phantom Pain is a very anti-war video game, with significant Japanese influences, such as the very Japanese anxieties of worldwide nuclear armament. Other Japanese anxieties, and also other issues brought up by the game, is the recurring theme of language. In the game, the main antagonist wishes to wipe out all non-English speaking humans off the face of the earth, and it is apparent through the game that Kojima is making a point of the danger of loss of Japanese culture post-World War II. Being a game mostly set around Western characters but being designed by Japanese developers affects the game in some interesting and different ways, resulting in a fresh look and experience on the ever-saturated war action genre. The worries and anxieties of Japanese culture are apparent throughout the game, and the anti-war sentiment is felt wholeheartedly. Metal Gear Solid 5 uses these cultural differences and quirks to show its underlying messages.